Sharpe had some things to say on FS1 today about Myles Garrett. Let's take a look at that. What he's telling me is that he's not sorry for what he did. He's learned absolutely nothing. If we're not careful, we'll find Myles Garrett back in this situation. Really, Myles, what do you hope to be doubling down for? You're asking for a lawsuit because you're impugning this man's reputation. I just hope I understand what Myles Garrett is hoping to accomplish in this situation. He's not showing contrition for his actions. He's saying the reason why he did it was because of what he did.
Well, actually, he's sending a mixed message. He's saying, this is what he called me. I'm not saying it's the reason why I did it,
right,
but I just want you to know this is what he called me.
Well, he killed two birds with one stone. If that, in fact, is what happened, he got the word out as what was said, and he defended what he did. Well, which he didn't have to defend. It's impossible to defend what he did.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying. I think while he's trying to say that it's over with and that he's moving on and all that, he found a curious way to do that by bringing it all up again and causing this. So now this has been a topic for a week of sports talk and ESPN, and when it gets closer to the season and they're going to play the Steelers again, we're going to go through the whole thing again.
Stefanski will not be wearing a sweatshirt, a T-shirt that says it started in
I don't think
Pittsburgh.
I don't think we'll see that. But the thing about it is, Myles Garrett, the one thing he has going against him, Les, I think, is that he punched a guy in the opener of the season, punched him in the face. He lost his cool in the beginning of the season. Right. And nothing was said then that we know of. He didn't claim that anybody said anything to him. So he has this kind of reputation of going off and losing his head on the football field.
And he'll be watched closer now too.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right, so
this idea that somebody had to say something to trigger that kind of reaction, that certainly wasn't the case in the opener, is all I'm trying to say.
All right, you're Kevin Stefanski. You come in here, within a couple of days you have Odell Beckham, right? And then you have this Myles Garrett situation. Supposedly he talked to Garrett. I don't know that he's talked to Myles. Has he, in your knowledge?
I don't know that. I don't
know that either. But if you're Kevin Stefanski, okay, you got Beckham. You talk to him at that point. What do you say to a guy you hadn't met before? In Myles Garrett.
In Myles Garrett, I guess I would just say to him, listen, not having you on a football field for 6 weeks last year probably cost this team its a run into the playoffs, possibly its head coach, maybe its GM. And we need you on the field. We can't have this kind of stuff. Put it behind you. Dedicate yourself to being a great defensive end and let that be your focus. Let's not relive this story that's going to go nowhere. There's two guys that we're down at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, he said.
And you're not going to get to the bottom of this. And if anything, if Mason Rudolph follows through, there's going to be a defamation suit. Yeah. There's going to be testimony.
Twice a year when they play each other.
Yeah. And drag through the court if it gets that far.
All right, let's go back to role playing here if you're Kevin Stefanski. One of the knocks against him and Freddie Kitchens and a whole bunch of other people who've been hired here is that they hadn't had any track record as a head coach, and they'll be facing things they hadn't faced before. This is one of those cases. So here it is, mid-February, still far enough away from the next season. Is this kind of a good thing to happen so Stefanski can practice here and what to do, or make it a learning experience for everybody?
I think he's probably, having gone through the Vikings thing last year, where the wide receivers were unhappy with Cousins early in the season. He was the offensive coordinator at the time. I think he's had a little more experience in the past than Freddie had, putting out these kind of fires and dealing with these kind of personality conflicts. So I think he's a little more experienced in that. I don't think he necessarily needs this thing. If we've learned anything less over the years, it's that things that happen in January, February, March, April, May, they don't matter, because it always seems like they're prepping for the season until that season starts and everything starts going every which way at 100 miles an hour on game day.
Okay, but here's the problem.
Yeah.
You got Andrew Berry, who's 32 years old, first-time GM.
Yep.
You got Jimmy Haslam, who since 2012 has owned the Cleveland Browns and has a horrendous track record of hiring and having to fire people in the front office. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what the numbers are anymore. But if you're sitting there with Haslam and Berry and Stefanski, who's leading this? Who knows what is involved here? Who knows how to get them out of this fix?
It's a good question. I think you're going to be leaning on Stefanski to do it. I mean, DePodesta, I would say, but then, you know, he's not there all the time. So he's in California, and he's, you know, given them the parameters and the structure of what he thinks an organization in the NFL should run like in 2020. But it's going to come down to the head coach. I mean, the head coach needs to be the leading man of an organization. And that's the case in Pittsburgh. It's the case in Baltimore.
If the owner will let him.
It was the case in Cincinnati. And this ownership needs to not get involved on a daily basis. And that's the thing that they've been unable to do up to this point.
216